I remember John Wimber making a comment, and actually he did a whole session on it, talking about being uh, not being derailed or distracted with negativity or negative people. And basically his response was just don't respond. Just
Yeah.
don't respond to it. Don't
Yeah.
don't feed it by giving it attention. It was like, just don't give it attention. And I mean, now there is a aspect of it to where that you also want to make sure that when people are confronting you, and they want to take to heart what they're saying, because it could be something God's putting his finger on. And I mean, that's, I think, where with the topic that we're on now with the Radical Radio, with toxic, pastors, toxic leaders, is to stop and to not just write those things off, but really stop and say, and I remember he personally said to me, he said, with each situation or accusation that's brought, I immediately stop and pause and say, Holy Spirit, is there any truth to that?
Yeah, man.
And is there anything that I need to? And he goes, I don't accept just the accusation as it is. He goes, but I just stop and I say, is there any truth to that? And what do you want to put your finger on in my life that I take a look at and see that and respond to that?
Wow.
And man, that was just such a powerful response to me.
Yeah, it's huge.
There's a lot of, with any sort of attention that you get, any sort of platform that you get, there's a massive amount of pushback, and people, again, jealousy. It can come from other ministers with jealousy. It can also come from, people that just don't like you, or they just don't like what you're talking about, or they don't like the fact that you're pointing it out. That they respond, but always stopping and saying, okay, Lord, but is there anything in this that I need to hear?
Yeah.
Is there any truth in this that I need to hear and that I need to, evaluate and weigh?
Yeah.
I don't want to buy the accusation of the enemy. I don't want to fall prey to that. But I do want to properly give attention to things that the Lord is saying, hey, Robby, pay attention to this. This needs to be addressed.
Man, that's huge though, because I'm reminded of something that happened. I was leading a team in China, and it was going well. We were doing a lot of friendship evangelism. We were going to like different universities, and just it was great. But there was also some members of my team who were very much into like mercy ministry, so like acts of service and that kind of stuff. And that's great. And I could tell, maybe it was my discernment kicking in. I could tell there was some talking behind my back about frustrations with that. So one of the girls, she came to me, and I remember it just like, it was one of those moments that stamped in my brain because of how I responded, because she was like, she came to me like really upset. We're a mercy ministry team, we're not doing this and we're not doing this. And I remember just being like, feeling the Holy Spirit just saying, stay calm, listen to what she's saying. And so I did. And I was like, okay. I was like, how would you do things differently? And so she was like, she was really taken, like caught off guard, because I had an opportunity, because she came at me like cranked up to 11, right? So the temptation was to meet it with the same level of intensity. But instead I was like, thank you for pointing that out. How would you do it differently? And then she was really derailed by that. But then we ended up working together and creating different things that we could do to help facilitate that desire within the team. Because I was like, as a leader, you're not going to know everything. And even with discernment, even with God speaking to you, you're not going to know everything. And bringing people in and allowing them to come in to this as well is really important. And it went a long way in that team, because when you're on a team like that and you're in a foreign country, there's already, Satan doesn't want you there. We're in China. Satan didn't want us there, especially with the stuff we were doing. He did not want us there. So the temptation is just don't take the bait. I think is really it. So,
that's such a mature response that you did to stop and just listen. And so many times, a lot of people don't realize that'll resolve it. People just want to know that they're heard. They want to know that their voice counts, that they're, that what they communicate, counts and says, I remember when people would come to me and saying, well, if you were properly leading this church, you would do this and this and this. And I'm like, hey, let's plant you, let's put you out. You plant the church. I'll help you, because I would immediately stop and say to him, what you're getting a sense of how to do something. Well, when you're leading that group, you can do it that way, and simply giving people that ear to just, first of all, to be heard. And I have to work at that, because I'm like you said, I mean, I remember one of my counselors, like a woman who was counseling me and processing through some painful experiences and stuff. She talked about reactionary sin. And I was like, ooh, just that title sort of punched me in the gut. And I'm like, yeah, I think I've got some of that going on. Reactionary sin, where you just sort of react rather than really hear it, rather than really stop and weigh it. And I'm growing in that. I wish I could say I've conquered it, but I haven't. But I'm growing in that area, and I think that's such a significant part, to understand and in order to develop it. But giving space for people to approach and to say things, I think is the best fix of any of that type of stuff. But at the same time, things that are just critical, things that are just, a lot of my team, it's really funny, Jeff, because a lot of my team on my social media stuff, they want to pull off these negative comments. And I'm like, if there's not, expletives in there, if there's not like severe language in there or something, I'm like, leave it up. Let people see it. We kind of want to spare, we don't want to be the recipients of those type of comments or things like that, but we kind of have a tendency to rescue our ministry or our platform from it. But for me, I've been like, let's leave it up. Let's let people, and let other people respond if they see fit, or just let people see, hey, these are the kind of shots you get when you've got this kind of influence,